Magny, the Haitian sensation, he ties George St. Pierre's welterweight win record in the UFC. So he's tied for number one for most wins in UFC welterweight divisional history at 19, brother. That's a lot of wins right there for a dude who is at the back end of the top 10. Now, a lot of people, once again right here, are kind of arguing, Max Griffin might have won this fight, right? I don't agree with that situation neither, but Max Griffin thought he won round one and round two of the fight. Neil Magny, as always, comes on late, nonstop pressure, constant pressure, and then calls out Khamzat Chimaev saying, Khamzat, I want you, let's get it. I've been trying to get this fight for over a year. Now, my question to you is, before we talk about this Max Griffin situation, AJ, how big of a star is Chimaev right now, given that a dude who has 19 wins in the UFC, calling out a dude who has like 2 wins in the UFC, 3 wins in the UFC? Like, he's calling Chimaev out. It should be the other way around, brother. This is not supposed to work this way. So Chimaev is clearly an established boogeyman in the division right now. And when you have OG veterans who are saying, I want to fight you instead of calling up upper opponents so I can get closer to the title, I want to fight Chimaev. How big of a star is this dude? Is he the next thing? Because right now, that's what solidified it for me. All this hype, he's a big question mark. This solidified it for me right here. What do you think?
Man, that shows so much respect from the locker room. The fact that you have Neil Magny has the same or a better record than one of the GOATs, arguably the GOAT, especially in his own division. You have a record better than him, more win streak or more wins, in your entire career. Yeah, and then you're calling out somebody else who has, I think it's 4 fights total in the UFC. It's absolutely insane. Speaks massive levels to how big of a star Khamzat is and kind of how scary he is to the rest of the division, man. A lot of people are kind of willing to take that fight to kind of ride the coattails, if you will. Yeah, crazy to see, man, because, I mean, it also speaks levels to how impressive and good a fighter Neil Magny is, but at the same time, not that respected, like not that well known. People don't pay to watch Neil Magny fight, even though they should. He's very impressive, very dominating fighter. And in that third round, came on, dude, tore it up. I agree. The first 2 were a little closer. I had it going to Magny the entire time. I could see where the Griffin people come in and say he might have won round 1, round 2. Neil Magny definitely took over the fight in round 3. But for him to even have the thought to call out somebody who's under him, who's still going to be fighting here soon, who hasn't really put in the time and effort into the UFC, instead of calling out the champ or somebody like that, speaks absolute levels to the fact of how big of a star Chimaev is, man. Kind of crazy.
I agree. Now, when it comes down to this situation between Max Griffin and Neil Magny right here, we said Max Griffin, if there's anyone that's ready to upset Neil Magny, it's Max Griffin. He's a great fighter, nonstop pace, never gets tired, all that good stuff. I think he got tired in this fight, bro. This was the story of the night for all of these fights. Everyone comes round 2 and round 3, get a little bit gassed. But what was more telling to me was that Neil Magny said the game plan was to come in and wrestle. I was like, oh, that's not you. You just got destroyed in the wrestling by Michael Chiesa a couple fights ago. Maybe you learned a thing or two. 1 for 9 in takedown attempts on Max Griffin. He was able to get the takedown a little bit late, try to work it like that. But he did outstrike Griffin 104-75. Was outstruck in terms of significant strike, 67-54 right there, man. So this was just a valiant effort on both hands. No performance of the night bonus. It was a fun fight back and forth, but I think Max Griffin has nothing to hang his hat on. He did mention something on Instagram, though, AJ, that Dana White gave him his win bonus, even though he lost. I don't know if there's any validity to that, given that he just kind of put it out there. But he thinks that he won round 1 and 2. And I wanted to kind of put out here, right here, AJ, that for folks who are watching right here, I just have MMA decisions up once again. Eric Colon and Sal D'Amato, they both gave Neil Magny rounds 2 and rounds 3 to win the fight. Now, Todd Schwartz gave Neil Magny only round 3. He gave Griffin rounds 1 and rounds 2. Now, the overwhelming majority gave it to Magny. Only 3 people out of maybe 15, 18 people picked Max Griffin to win the fight. But that is kind of telling because, like I said, Max Griffin dropped Neil Magny early in that first round. So clearly that first round does go to him, but it really comes down to that rounds 2 and round 3. Who won the fight? I don't know, man. You can't leave it up to the judges. This was kind of a decision-filled card overall on the night. But I do think give this, best of 5. Who wins? Neil Magny or Max Griffin in a series of 5 fights?
Oh, I'd say Magny by 1. I think it's going even into the 4th, and then he gets him again just one other time. But either way, it's always close.
Yeah.
And as far as the win bonus, I think according to Uncle Chael, this is very common for Dana White. Dana White does this all the time. It's just kind of a thing. You know, you get your show, you get your pay. Even if you lose, you might see a check roll in from Uncle Dana. It's kind of what he does. So I don't know if that necessarily speaks to it, but I do think this was a lot closer to a fight. And if it happens 5 times, we're even going into the 5th.
Yeah, I will say that I think what Uncle Dana respects is you're putting on a great show, right? You came in, you fought your ass off. Here's a little bit of bread. You know, that's why Connor walked out. Thanks for the cheese, Dana. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's why you got to respect it. But yeah, he was giving out 50K bonuses like it was candy at UFC London. Didn't quite see the same thing happen on the Columbus card. But either way, this was a big win for Neil Magny. I think this is one of the more underwhelming wins in his career, to be honest. You're not fighting a ranked dude. I don't know how this fight came together. I don't know how Max Griffin got a number 9 ranked opponent. He was ranked at number 35 when I made the graphics for all of this stuff, so we will see what happens. But either way, this was a big win, and this was a great opportunity for Max Payne Griffin. I would like to see him again back in the near future because he's got the juice, man. He's got the juice. Not against Neil Magny, but the man got the juice.